here at Cadwell Park in the heart of Lincolnshire, a track where talent outweighs power. It's the penultimate round. This is Thundersport GB.
Cadwell Park sets the scene for the penultimate round of the championship in the RST Clothing Golden Era Superbikes. A new class for 2012, and news having just broken that there will be a Golden Era Super Sport class also for next season, as the green flag is waved at the back and we're ready to go here. You can see number 13 in the middle of your picture. Richard Blunt always seems to get away from the line well. Amazing acceleration from that S-Rad Suzuki, and indeed he does. Gets away from Lee Reevely, who we have to say a big hats off to. Lee Reevely becomes the most successful Thundersport GB rider of all time with a 4th title. He's won the Golden Era Superbike Championship to add to his 2 Super Twins and Sound of Thunder championships. And into Park Corner comes Richard Blunt, the race leader. There was 77, Lee Reevely. As you look back there to number 81, Marcel Brinkman on the Aprilia. Into the gooseneck we go. In second place there, that's Mike Walker, experienced rider, just ahead of Craig Jeff on the Aprilia 1000. Craig not had a win so far in this championship, so maybe he can use the power of that Aprilia Melee. There he is in third, the all-white Aprilia, number 16, ahead of fellow Aprilia rider Lee Reevely in 4th, who's just been crowned the champion. Further back behind Lee looks like number 62, Jason Dixon, another rider. Yep, there he is on the S-Rad. Then it's Williamson, number 6, and 355, Mark S. on the Yamaha 750. We've also got Phil Page, Charlie Flett further back. John Dieterman, number 18, on the Ducati 860. Then across the line, a complete lap 1. Blunt it is that leads, having shot away from the line, with Mike Walker in second place there. Mike is out on Yamaha YZF 750. And that Aprilia Melee power now, having powered past Mike Walker. He's now looking to go around the outside of the gooseneck. That will give him the inside line into the next corner. There is number 51, Charlie Flett, regular with Thundersport on the CLS Light and Sound Aprilia, rider from Aberdeen. And there is Craig Jeff, who does go into the lead. Craig, 2 Jeffs racing. Him and his father have had some decent racing over the last few years, and Craig races and hails from Barnsley. Meanwhile, in second place there, Richard Blunt, number 13, a rider on the Dave Blunt Suzuki from Elverden in Norfolk. And there's Lee Reevely, 4 times a Thundersport champion, a rider on the E2E Solutions Aprilia from Coventry. Across the line, the power of the Melee stretches away from Richard Blunt. Mike Walker there in 3rd place. And further back, that is number 64 and number 81. 64, Adam Palfreman on the Rothwell Racing Honda 1000. Major wobble there from Craig Jeff. The bike shaking its head as they tip into Park Corner. And the leading 3 are now going to become 4, because Lee Reevely, having not got off to the greatest of starts, has made up some ground, and up the inside there into the gooseneck. Mike Walker, great move by the looks of things. And yeah, Mike Walker does move up into second ahead of Blunt. So Blunt, having got off to the finest of starts, has now dropped back on his S-Rad 750. Lee Reevely now looking hungry to finish on the podium, having just become the new champion. But Craig Jeff, well, he would dearly love that first win. He's been regular in the Thundersport paddock over the last few years, a former Thundersport 500 rider, another regular just there, number 64, Adam Palfreman, entering just about every class he can on as many different bikes as possible. Certainly gets the award for being Mr. Versatile. Out of barn corner, Craig Jeff has a big look over his shoulder and he sees Mike Walker, but Lee Reevely and Richard Blunt, maybe they've had a coming together just in the forest area at the hairpin there, because they've just lost ground with the two leaders. Lee Reevely moving up to third. There is Nick Williamson, number 6 on the Honda SP1. Nick second in the championship, and he's going to be involved in a fascinating fight to the end for second overall with Blunt. But Craig Jeff it is that leads overall. Yeah, Blunt here with a decent result, I think might just leave Cadwell Park in the runners-up position overall, with Dixon in 4th, Williamson 3rd. Craig Jeff, incidentally, who is leading this race, currently 5th in the championship, but he's not entered every single round, so down into the hairpin at the bottom of the mountain we go, and Lee Reevely around the outside into the mountain, neatly done from the champion. The E2E Solutions Aprilia rider moves up to second place, slams it up the inside, around the outside should I say, of the mountain, which gave him the inside line up the hill. Into Hall Bends we go. Richard Blunt now out of a podium place in 4th. Lap times, well, so far the fastest man, unsurprisingly, with the last lap flag out, is Lee Reevely in 2nd, but he's left himself with too much work to do here. Craig Jeff, the reason he's anxiously looking over his shoulder is because this will be his first ever win at Thundersport GB, and it'll be a popular win as well. On the brakes, down into Park Corner, and he should be able to hold on to this from now until the end of the lap. Lee Reevely, the champion, in 2nd place, and Mike Walker still in 3rd, just. That could go down to the wire between him and Richard Blunt. Mark S is currently in 5th, ahead of John Dieterman, Nick Williamson, Jason Dixon and Adam Palfreman. We lost Phil Page and Charlie Flett just after that first lap, so not sure what happened there. Craig once more has a look over his shoulder, and Lee Reevely is closing in, and this is going to be a fast lap from Lee. He's already got the fastest lap of the race so far, and Craig Jeff, well, not sure that's a good idea, pointing and clenching his fist as he goes through Hall Bends. I've seen it go wrong from here before, but this would be a good win for Craig as they tip now. You can just see in that shot there's a few spits of rain coming down, so they're cruising round. Craig Jeff comes down out of barn, and there it is, finally gets that first win at Thundersport GB and a winner's trophy. 2nd place for the champion of 2012, Lee Reevely. Oh, and that's close across the line for 3rd. Mike Walker does it, but just by 0.02 of a second. So confirmation of the results then in the Golden Era Superbikes. Craig Jeff takes his 1st Thundersport GB win ahead of Lee Reevely, the champion. Mike Walker 3rd, ahead of Blunt S and Dieterman. And there is the happy man in the middle, Craig Jeff, the winner.
Mike Walker, 3rd position in the Golden Era Superbikes, an excellent 3rd position. Can you tell us about the race?
Yeah, it was. I got a fairly good start. I think at one point I got up to about 2nd. I think nearly eye-sided it coming out of barn, and that slowed me up a little bit. That made a few adjustments after a warm-up that I've gone too far with. So I didn't really have the grip that I wanted, but and I lost it, nearly lost it at the mountain. So I decided to slow down a bit, and then Lee got me. I think I ended up 3rd, well 3rd, yeah. So I'm going to just thank someone. I'm going to just thank Richie Ellis for the loan of the bike, Graham Barrow for tuning the engine for me, and Lloyd for coming along and helping me.
A brilliant race, thank you. And 2nd position goes to the 2012 Golden Era Superbike champion, Lee Reevely. 2nd position, could you not push for a 1st?
I think if we'd had a few more laps, I had trouble. These guys are like quick and they're hard to pass, and I had to make some fairly harsh moves at the mountain to get by. But Craig had gone by then, he was setting a good pace, and yeah, a couple of laps maybe, but the rain coming, he likes the wet as well, so he wouldn't have been scared, so I don't think I could have done any better, to be honest.
Difficult conditions out there. Any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Yeah, everybody who's helped me, the team, mum and dad, Stuart, Jackie, and all my sponsors, Motorcourse, Aprilia Performance. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And first position goes to Craig Jeff in the Golden Era Superbikes. You managed to fight off the champion.
Well, that's first thing, it feels great because this is where I came for this weekend, my local circuit, and I just wanted to get this for all my family, you know. Yeah, I had an hard day yesterday, 3/3. Felt like I had pace, but just today I woke up feeling positive and brought it home over at Moon.
A second win in the second race then?
Well, like I say, it looks like it's going to be wet, so we'll have to see, but I don't mind it when it's wet.
Any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Well, I'm not sponsored, I'm funding it myself, and I've wrote on my bike, sponsors required, so if there's anybody out there. But other than that, my family and my friends just supporting me every time. It's been fantastic.
A well-deserved win, thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Moped, sports bikes, you save watts. Any bike, it makes no odds. We will give you what you need. Best price always guaranteed. Come to us and get a quote. You'll be singing note for note. Walk away with cash to spend on anything you want, my friend. Bike Insurer, Bike Insurer, Bike Insurer.
Get the cheapest bike insurance, guaranteed, only from the Bike Insurer.
Welcome back to Thundersport GB here at Cadwell Park. The Golden Era Superbikes roll up onto the grid, and in pole position there, Craig Jeff, number 16, looking for a race win here. And we can tell you that we already have a champion in this class, Lee Reevely, without a shadow of a doubt, the most successful motorcycle rider we've had at Thundersport GB. His 4th championship win in the 5 years that Thundersport's been running. So congratulations to Lee Reevely. Craig Jeff out on the Aprilia 1000 looking for a decent result. Look out for the blistering starts that we usually get from number 13 on the left of your picture, Richard Blunt. This, of course, a class for 750cc four-cylinder bikes from the 80s and 90s, competing against 1000cc twins. And off they go up into the first corner, and as ever, a good start it is indeed for the man from Elverden, Richard Blunt, with Craig Jeff in second. It's Williamson third, Dixon in 4th place. And as I said at the start of this race, Lee Reevely, the champion. It's a new class for 2012, and Lee came into it on board the Aprilia, and I can tell you that he won the Sound of Thunder Championship in the inaugural year of Thundersport GB, 08. He didn't win in 09, he had a few problems here and there, but came back to win the Super Twins Championship in 2010 and 11. And then this year, he's gone out and he's done it in the Golden Era Superbikes. Not out in this race, Lee, so he'll be watching from the sidelines, as it were. He doesn't actually need to be out there, so he's saving himself for maybe a finale at Mallory Park, and we will wait to see what he gets up to next season. There is number 18, John Dieterman on the Ducati 860. And lots of weird and wonderful machines out on the grid. Thundersport GB recently announced, of course, that there will be a Golden Era Super Sport class for next season also. Details will soon be up, hopefully, for that on the Thundersport website, www.thundersportgb.com. But as it is, we've got a race on here, and Richard Blunt, who is trying to secure second in the championship, has got his hands full with Craig Jeff, number 16. Now, if memory serves me right, I don't think Craig Jeff has won a race at Thundersport GB, a former Thundersport 500 competitor. He's been on the podium a couple of times, but not had the race win, and he's putting the pressure on the Suzuki of Richard Blunt here. Further back, we've got a couple of other riders to point out. You'll have seen the highlight signs, Yamaha 750, number 355 of Mark S. He is out on circuit trying to chase down number 6, Nick Williamson, who is third in the championship overall. But as they come over the mountain and into Hall Bends, it is Richard Blunt, number 13, that leads from Craig Jeff on the Aprilia Melee. The Aprilia with considerable amount more grunt, I would have said, out of the corners, but through the twisty sections, Richard Blunt really should have an advantage. Craig Jeff has a big look over his shoulder there as they come across the start-finish line, and they're now forming into two groups of two. Richard Blunt leading from Craig Jeff, and lap times at the moment in the 1:38 for Richard Blunt, so performing well is Richard. Now they come now up over the hill, and just extending that gap slightly is Richard, with Craig Jeff in second place. Further back, of course, we've got John Dieterman, as I mentioned, Jason Dixon out there on the Suzuki 750. Marcel Brinkman is another rider to look out for, number 81 on the Aprilia. Phil Page, a Thundersport regular, number 94 on the Quacker ZX7R. And Charlie Flett and Adam Palfreman, names that if you watch Thundersport GB, you'll be familiar with. Down into the newest part of the circuit here at Cadwell Park, and then into the mountain, the famous mountain, flicking left, then right, then over the hilltop. And so far, Blunt not making any mistakes as he wheelies over the mountaintop into Hall Bends. Of course, this race here, you'll be able to see the other races at Thundersport GB if you are interested on the actual Thundersport website on the iPlayer icon. So click on that and you'll be able to see the other race that Lee Reevely contested. There goes Mark S, and now that is number 6 and number 18, Nick Williamson and John Dieterman. John catching, by the looks of things, Nick Williamson, but Richard Blunt at the front, unable to shake off Craig Jeff. You just get the impression that Craig is biding his time, waiting to pounce as they head into the gooseneck. That would be brave through there, one of the fastest points of the circuit. Of course, I just mentioned that Craig Jeff, I wasn't sure if he'd had a win, but he has had actually one win here at Cadwell already, so we'll put that one to bed. Richard Blunt tips into the chicane now, the right-left. Not really enough room for an overtaking manoeuvre there, but if you can get the power on out of there, then you might just have a shot at it down into the chicane. We saw in that last race, Alex Heaton, the Night Road Racing Ducati rider, put a great move on Mike Dickinson. And could we be seeing the same again? There is Nick Williamson, number 6. Rider on the RBM Industrial Honda SP1 from Southampton. Coming under quite a bit of pressure now from John Dieterman. It's out of barn, down the hill and across the line to complete another lap. It is still Blunt who is fighting off the advances of Craig Jeff in second. But it seems Marquez has now managed to shake off the two riders behind him, Nick Williamson and John Dieterman here in 4th and 5th place. Mark S, let's have a look at his lap times, 39.5. Yeah, so he's not catching Richard or Craig out front necessarily. So it looks like he might be involved in a lonely race. It's just a matter now of waiting to see if Craig Jeff in second place is going to make a move on the race leader, Richard Blunt. And there you see number 18, John Dieterman on that Ducati. The white Ducati. Getting right tucked in there is Richard Blunt, a rider that contests also in the Thundersport 500 Championship, and you can see that in the Thundersport Naked show in a couple of weeks' time here on Motors TV. There is number 51, Charlie Flett on the Aprilia Miele, currently in 9th place is Charlie. And the last lap flag is out now, and what a time to pull the pin. It looks as though Craig Jeff doesn't have much left in the tank, and across the line goes Richard. That was a 1:38.5, full 7/10 quicker than Craig Jeff's previous lap. So it looks as though he could just cruise home to take the victory here. Richard Blunt, he can't obviously win the championship. That belongs to Lee Reevely, but a decent result here would just edge him a couple of points further away from Nick Williamson. And there is Nick, number 6, just in the sandwich of machines, going either side of Charlie Flett with John Dieterman for company. And that one is not over just yet. But if Blunt can hang on to this, it would give him, by my maths, something around the 20, or maybe 30-point gap over Williamson for second overall in the championship. Around the mountain they go, just a few more corners now to contemplate for Richard Blunt. a bit of a wobble over the mountain, has a look over his shoulder, but this one looks as though it's in the bag for the Elvedon racer on the Dave Blunt Suzuki. Down into the hairpin, and we've seen it go wrong from here for a couple of riders in the past. It's tricky few corners to navigate around, but it's a great win for Richard Blunt, number 13. He crosses the line for 25 points and remains second overall in the championship ahead of Craig Jeff in second. Mark S does finish in a lonely third ahead of Nick Williamson, who takes fourth ahead of John Dieterman and Jason Dixon. And there you see them on the podium, Blunt, Jeff and Mark S. Championship standings then, you can see the star next to Lee Reevely's name. He is the champion of 2012, ahead of Blunt, who's just ahead of Nick Williamson.
Winner of the Golden Era Superbikes, Richard Blunt. An excellent win for you there. You had a storming lead.
Yeah, it was really good. Managed to get a decent start again and tried to get a bit of a lead, but Craig was on my tail all the way around. Real fast rider. Didn't seem to be able to shake him. Towards the end, managed to gap him a little bit. I think he may have made a mistake or two, but they're really pleased with that, really pleased.
It must be brilliant coming back after breaking your collarbone at Anglesey, which wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, I won't be saying anything to the doctors particularly soon, because I don't really know I'm out here, but no, I'm really pleased with it. I'm tiring quite quickly out there, but so I wasn't going to give up the lead towards the end, so really pleased with it, really pleased.
And looking forward to Mallory Park?
Definitely, yeah, hopefully. I'd like 4 wins possibly, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, definitely looking forward to it. Lovely track. So.
And any sponsors to thank?
Yeah, massive thanks to Eric Equa, who's been helping us out with the bike whilst we've been doing this series. And a massive thanks to my dad, and also to Dan, my mechanic, for helping me out this weekend and get me sorted whilst I'm out there having fun. So thank you.
Well, don't go anywhere after the break. We'll be back with Doodson Motorsports, Super Twins, Mini Twins and Formula 400s.